This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big updates to share with you. President Biden made another huge move by combining the $33 billion Ukraine aid bill with COVID relief. Let you know how those legislation could benefit the American people, according to Pramila Jayapal, as well as President Biden authorizing the use of E15 to hopefully lower the gas prices, but it may not work. Also, with oil companies getting record high profits, Democrats and progressives are trying to get access to that money to give it to the people. Also, I'll go over the latest stimulus news like this: $1,400 spring stimulus checks, as well as the $500 a month anti-poverty stimulus check. We'll also talk about the free $150 gas cards, how to apply for them, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So let's get right into it. Progressives seize on quarterly oil profits to call for windfall tax. So basically, the oil companies are coming out really big here. ExxonMobil reported an earnings total of $5.5 billion on Friday, even after a $3.4 billion loss the company took after divesting from Russia in response to the invasion in Ukraine. Chevron, meanwhile, announced a nearly 20% increase from the quarter before, reporting a $6.3 billion in the first quarter. Now, this is just quarters. This is just 3 months that they're making these billions of dollars, which is crazy. Critics of the oil companies called the reports evidence of gouging by the fossil fuel industry at a time when consumers have seen gas prices skyrocket. Environmental groups have called for taxes on oil companies' windfall profits to be passed on to consumers. So, I mean, this is pretty clear. Since these are publicly traded companies, you could see how much profit they're making. If they're making $5.5 billion, $6.3 billion, and it's more than the quarters before, and the prices are so high at the pump, what does that mean? Where's that extra money going? Looks like it's going to executives and shareholders compared to keeping the price as it was before and letting the consumers have the same price of gas. So let me know your thoughts on this. Democrats are going to try to get this money and give it to the people. It could be like a $100 a month check, depending on the price of oil or something like that. Also, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are trying to attack these oil companies to penalize them. We'll see what happens with that. Also, to lower the price of gas, Biden admin authorizes E15 gasoline in an effort to increase U.S. fuel supply, reduce gas prices. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said it was necessary to address Putin's price hike. So it looks like they are addressing the high prices in gas as well as inflation to Putin. But this E15 doesn't really make sense. So 15% ethanol, which is made from corn, and this only goes to 2% of the gas stations, which may or may not make sense, is worse for the environment. I don't know. This seems more as like a publicity thing than it actually being effective in lowering the price. But let me know your thoughts on that. Also, Biden's $33 billion Ukraine aid request hits early snag over COVID funding in Congress. The reason why is because they are combining them. So Pelosi endorsed a strategy to combine Ukraine and COVID aid together. So for months, Democrats have been trying to pass COVID aid. Originally they said $46 billion, then $22 billion, then $13 billion, going lower and lower. And now they want to combine that with the $33 billion from the Ukraine package, which seems to get somewhat sort of bipartisan support. Republicans are for it, Democrats are for it, for the $30 billion to go to Ukraine. And now they're going to combine it with the COVID aid. And now that's not going over too well with the rest of Congress. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated on that. Also, Biden's student loan forgiveness plan breaking down the cost. So erasing $10,000 in student loan debt will cost the government $321 billion. So it's a lot of money. $321 billion. That could be used for other things, or can it? Should it be used for student loan forgiveness? Should it be used for maybe stimulus checks, or the other promise of $200 per month more for Social Security recipients? Let me know your thoughts on all that. So $321 billion to erase the $10,000 of student loan debt. Personally, I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have student loans. My wife doesn't have student loans. I'm not on Social Security, but these were promises that were made in order to get into office. So the people who would benefit from it may have voted because they thought they were going to get these things in return. But let me know your thoughts on all of that. In terms of the bigger legislation, here is Pramila Jayapal talking more about the latest and how it could benefit the American people.
And joining us now to discuss all of it is the House's top progressive Congresswoman, Pramila Jayapal, from the great state of Washington. Congresswoman Jayapal, thank you for being here. I want to start with Ukraine, if I can. You heard the president. He told reporters he doesn't really care how Congress gets the funding done on both of these issues, Ukraine and COVID. He just wants it done right away. Should Senator Schumer link the two bills in the Senate, knowing the Republicans are likely to try to block both, to balk at it if the votes are connected?
Well, first of all, it's great to see you and great to be with you. I think the important thing here is we do need to do both of them. Whatever games Republicans are going to play, I do feel like they're less likely to play them if the two are linked, because as you know, we've been trying to get COVID aid for some time, and Republicans have been stopping us from making sure that Americans across this country can get their tests and their vaccines and everything that they need. That money has run out. And unfortunately, Republicans have been blocking us from providing the additional COVID aid, which is why I think it probably makes sense to link them so that it is clear to everybody that both Ukraine and COVID aid need to be done. But obviously, that's up to Majority Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. We'll see what it looks like, but that's been our advice to the Speaker. Keep them linked, because otherwise we're afraid that Republicans will once again stop Americans getting the aid they need for their health care.
So devil's advocate here, Congresswoman, why not separate these bills, knowing that Ukraine obviously has bipartisan support on its own? Time is of the essence, as we witness again today. Ukraine has the potential to suffer the most if this drags out. Why not just get on that immediately?
Well, again, because Republicans have blocked COVID aid before, and so both of them are urgent. We urgently need to provide this aid to Ukraine, and the money has run out for vaccines and testings for Americans here at home. So that's why we need to make sure we do both of them urgently, and whatever way we can get them both done quickly. This is a negotiation that usually happens between the majority leader, the speaker, and the minority leader. So let's see what happens here. But we're ready.
Fair.
Democrats are ready to vote both those through right away. It's the Republicans that have been the problem.
So one of the issues that's been a sticking point that Republicans have been focused on right now is this fight over Title 42 and the COVID package. I know that you want to see Title 42 end, but if extending Title 42 or taking it out, Title 42 being the border restriction that requires those who come into the U.S. to be expelled immediately, if it is to stick around like this, to stick for a bit, obviously, one of the real challenges is this is the only way you get the funding passed for it is via Title 42. Can you swallow a vote on that or just wait? You know, would that be okay for your caucus?
No, unfortunately, we can't because Title 42 is, really it was outrageous that it was put in place to start with. And it has led to the disorderly process that we see with thousands of people being expelled into Mexico. The Republicans can't have it both ways. They're saying that we don't need more COVID aid because there isn't a health emergency, and at the same time they want to keep Title 42 in place, which is a public health law that the CDC has said we should lift. So honestly, I got to tell you, I'm an immigrant, and I am tired of the way that Republicans have scapegoated immigrants and continued to do that. Title 42 has nothing to do with keeping our border safe. What we really need to do is pass comprehensive immigration reform. And so the CPC, along with the CHC, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and the Congressional Progressive Caucus have both said that we will not support legislation that includes a reinstatement of Title 42. It's just scapegoating immigrants, and it does nothing to protect us on health or on border security. So that is not going to be, that's going to be a non-starter.
Let me ask you about another topic where the president made headlines yesterday. He said of student loan forgiveness the following. Take a listen. Here it is.
I am considering dealing with some debt reduction. I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness. And I'll have an answer on that in the next couple of weeks.
So, Congresswoman, is getting rid of some student debt enough, or does it not go far enough? Does the president need to go farther?
Well, look, we're thrilled that the president is committed to canceling some student debt. And we talked to him a couple of weeks ago when the Progressive Caucus met with him in the White House. We told him this was one of our top priorities. 45 million people across the country have student debt, and it's crushing them. And so we know that the number will be somewhere between the 10,000 that he promised on the campaign trail and the 50,000 that we have been pushing for. Maybe it
Is
can be
10,000
49.
enough?
Well, look, that's what he promised on the campaign trail. We've been pushing for 50,000. Somewhere between that is going to be the right number. And we're going to celebrate that number because it means that millions of people will get relief for their student debt. I'm still pushing for 49,999. He said it's not going to be 50, but he didn't say it's not going to be 49,999. So let's see
All
how
right.
far we can
It almost sounds like.
What are your thoughts on what Pramila Jayapal has to say? Do you agree, disagree? A lot of big things to come over the next few weeks, especially since Democrats are against the ropes and need to make some big moves in order to win the midterms, if they plan on doing that, or at least survive it. So far, Democrats' poll numbers, President Biden's poll numbers, really low. Republicans are most likely favored to take over the House and the Senate come midterm elections, unless there's some big changes. So this is why we're starting to see a lot more stimulus, gas checks, governors calling for $2,000 stimulus checks. So it's going to be a really interesting few months coming up. Speaking of more checks, free $150 gas cards, CTA rides coming to Chicagoans. Here's how to apply. So if you live in Chicago, you can apply online or at a Chicago Public Library branch to enter the lottery for a $150 gas card or a $50 Ventra card. So yeah, you could do this online if you live in Chicago. It's really easy. It's this is the website right here. Definitely tell people about it if they live in Chicago. It's yeah, you could just type in Chicago gas card application and you could just go right here. If you want a gas card or a transit card, mail to me, pick it up at City Hall, and it's a lottery system. So just because you apply doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get it. So, but if you know anyone in Chicago, definitely let them know about that. And stimulus, these 10 states are paying residents checks worth up to $850. I'll just run through these really quick, just to give you an update of the latest. So California, under consideration, gas tax rebate of $400 per car up to 2 vehicles. Also a new $200 stimulus check or tax rebate potential in California. Georgia, $250 for single, $375 for household, $500 for married jointly. Hawaii, giving out $100 checks if you make less than $100,000. Idaho, tax rebate via direct deposit, $75 or 12% of your 2020 taxes. Indiana, one-time payment of $125. Kansas, reducing or getting rid of state grocery tax altogether. There's only 13 states in the country that have gas or grocery tax. Kentucky, under debate, one-time stimulus of up to $500 per state and $1,000 per household. Maine, $850 checks coming this summer. New Jersey, $250 for renters. It's a property tax rebate, and an average of $700 for homeowners. New Mexico, one-time tax rebate is coming, $250 for singles, $500 for couples, and then a refundable child tax credit of $175 per child. That's in New Mexico. And then property tax rebate for New York 2021, 22, 23, an average of $425 in New York City, $970 outside of New York City. Pennsylvania, considering cutting the gas tax by 30%, as well as a $2,000 stimulus check is under consideration. And then Virginia, cutting or getting rid altogether of the state grocery tax and or suspending the state 26 cents per gallon gas tax for 1 year. So those are the latest with those. A few others that didn't make that list. New spring stimulus check lottery will see thousands. Pocket bonus, $1,400. Do you qualify to enter? So applications for a one-time $1,400 payment open for Johnson County in Iowa, April 25th. So those applications are open. If you live in Johnson County, Iowa, you could get a potential $1,400 check. And then this state just turned down $146 million in stimulus funds. This is going on in Arkansas. They recently rejected a pile of aid for rental assistance. So A few other states are doing this. They have just given back the money for rental assistance. Another example is Nebraska rejected a round of rental relief as well. I'm not really sure the reason why, but I guess they're saying that it's not needed. Meanwhile, other states, if that money is rejected in Arkansas or Nebraska, it's going to other states that is going to use it for rental relief. So it's not just going back in the pocket of the government, it's going to hopefully go for more rental relief to people who need it. Then also bonus new anti-poverty stimulus check update. 14 days left for thousands to claim $500 a month for a year from the city. So in Chicago, there are applications open to get $500 a month for an entire year. And yeah, this is for 5,000 Chicago residents, $500 per month for an entire year. Applications open April 25th. And will end May 13th. So if you live in Chicago, apply for that gas card, apply for this $500 a month anti-poverty program too. If you know anyone in Chicago, definitely let them know about these programs. This is a lot of money here. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Hi guys, this is Belle, this is the tip of the day. What you should always do, think of something positive in your mind and stay creative. Because if you don't do those two things, you'll not be like more creative and stuff. Because you need to exercise your mind to be creative and stuff. Like, I found this, now I'm doing it. You need to find something creative in your mind that you can do. You need to find something creative in your mind that you can do.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. If you want to check out any of my other channels or videos, don't forget I have a few of them. I like to link them at the end. I have my Wise Buys channel, which is a product review channel, my Wise Pickleball channel, which I share the games of when I play pickleball, as well as my Wise Vibes channel. That's where I give a lot of positive information, motivation, inspirational videos. So I have a few of those. If you want, just check out those channels if you want some different type of content. And yeah, if you want to check out the latest video on any of those channels, you can click the link up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.